how do mediums talk to spirit? They're basically tapping into energy. Energy's invisible, we know this. So that your phone emits frequencies that harm you, like literally look in your Apple settings. So if we know that, that's invisible. We know that sound is invisible, but it makes it into our ears if you're lucky enough. We know light is invisible, but it makes it into our eyeballs. So the same thing happens with energy that mediums are tapping into, or psychic. Of course, you have your bullshit, snake oil, scam artists, which you have in every single field. There's nothing new about that. But you also have people that are super talented that have done the work. And by the work, it's just like anything, put the reps in. If you want to be a good salesperson, well, go fucking make cold calls, go knock on doors. Like, that's how you're going to be a great salesperson, not by reading books. It's the same principle with like being a medium, with being a coach, with being an athlete. Like, you have to put in the reps in order to achieve certain levels. And I'm not really sure if like everyone's quote unquote born with all of the different gifts that there are in that, like using different senses realm. I would say like engaging your pineal gland, like different elements of your biology that we know tune into different fields that the universe gives us. And by that is like the electrons and neutrons, the ionosphere, that we know are recorded elements in the universe. They interact with our body, and we know this. There are studies that watching water reduces your heart rate. Like, there are studies, peer-reviewed studies in science. Like, we don't learn about it. Why don't we learn about it in school? That's like, oh, you could go watch like running water that will actually reduce your heart rate. And I'm not saying if you don't fucking believe that it can help you, well, then go kick rocks. It's not going to work. Then you got to believe in it. But don't just blindly believe in it. Just do the research and try to understand why something like that would even be true. Like, it just, instead of judging, it's taking all this knowledge and looking at it curiously. And of course, you're going to stumble upon shit that's bullshit. Like everything. I once thought was like mythical and esoteric. I did enough curiously digging to understand that there were other people who have stumbled upon the same things. It was just back in the day. And it's a lot harder to transfer messages when you're writing letters and putting them in a mail system that wasn't operational like we know mail systems are, or putting them in bottles, or trying to broadcast the message. Like, there wasn't the means of communication to get the geniuses' knowledge back in the day, 17, 16, 15, 14, 1200s, all the way up to early 1900s. There was not the means of communication that we have today, where we're almost inundated with information. But the question is it the most valuable information for yourself, for your soul, for your goals, for who you're trying to be as a person? That's the real question. But the means of communication was really different. So when you looked at these different geniuses, or like not even geniuses, people that were horrible, you look at like Kill Me, the Hitlers of the world, different people who have overthrown like dynasties. You look at all of these different historical events without judgment and just truly trying to look at the situation as a whole, and you find these common themes that always seem to like permeate movements, permeate technological innovations. A lot of it has to do with applying nature. And when I say nature, we're quote unquote born with, and whatever that is. Like, one of my good friends, his brother has cerebral palsy. He cannot talk, and he can type like on a board. He is a genius. So he uses his God-given abilities in a different way. He's channeling it in a different way. He is such a genius that he's put on plays that he is actually writing a book that Jay Wright, the Villanova basketball coach, did a foreword to. He is integrated in like uplifting people. He started several programs at Villanova. He is such a sweet person. And that's just one way in which you can use your abilities and what you're given to help the world. Of course, the situation is really different than you see the majority of people, but he's not doing anything. And I think that's the point, is like every single one of us, especially if you have the ability to, could be doing things to uplift. So you use nature's given you, like the universal laws. Like, look up universal laws. Not everything's true, but like look up universal laws, look up the law of attraction, look up all these different books, Bruce Lipton, Dr. Joe Dispenza, Deepak Chopra. Look up, I don't always agree with Oprah and that kind of situation, and all of the celebrity in Hollywood of the world, but she's had so many different gurus, quote unquote, on. You look at these different yogis, these monks that have achieved different feats. Look at Wim Hof, the Iceman, who's able to scale Mount Everest in underwear. Like, how are you able to do that? Because he's tapping into nature, his biology, the biology, him resonating with the earth. That is that powerful. That you could scale Mount Everest. He can actually teach people to also adapt their bodies in a very short amount of time to cold, all by just tuning in. And again, it goes back to the principles of nature, the laws of nature. The only way he's able to do that is by tapping into what he's given in his body. He's not drinking creatine. He's not taking a vitamin. He's using his breath. He's using his mind to tune into different, quote unquote, frequencies, states, consciousness. There's a bunch of different terms you can interchange to mean similar things. So then I knew I was on something. I decided to go all in because forever the most sustainable systems are aligned with nature. Like, you look at nature, even in the most horrific accidents, it's still able to rebuild. Even in like nuclear destruction zones, there's still opportunity in some ways for life to grow back. It might take longer than generations and for one 100-year-old to see in their lifetime, but it's still going to regenerate. Isn't that the most successful businesses have done? Look at Ferrari, look at Rolex. They were able to pivot and regenerate through evolution. Literally, nature does that. Like, nature is the best at that. I read a book, The Body is Electric, and it's a whole discovery about the body being electric and what that really means. But it analyzes at one point salamanders and their ability to regenerate their limbs. And the author goes into saying how the more complex the system, the harder it is to regenerate, but it does not mean it's impossible. It just means it's more difficult to regenerate. So you see salamanders, they're semi-complex, but they're simple in structure. They have bones, basic stuff. Do they have bones? They have that bone. I guess they have bones. So they have these basic elements that are not as complex, of course, as a human that has veins, arteries. There's just so many different intricacies of the human body. And we know the body is electric too, because you have our heart and our mind, which is, according to science, Western science, not Eastern science, which is sometimes viewed as esoteric, which is also another whole rabbit hole. But in Western science, you can measure the heart and the brain's electricity via EKGs and EEGs. We know this. So we literally hook up the electrodes to our heart, to our brain, whatever's being scanned, and then whoop, something pops out on the meter. Well, what is it even measuring? It's measuring electrical frequencies, electrical magnetism, electric coming from the body. Very similar to the outlets that you see in your house, just a different frequency, a different intensity. Similar to how your Bluetooth hooks up to the car. You don't plug it in, right? Same thing, how your body feels when it walks into a room. You're not plugging your body into the room, but it's resonating with the room. Same thing that happens with your phone in a phone call. You call your mom across the world. Well, you didn't just like plug into like a specific phone line that also attaches to her phone. You're connecting to a specific tune, a specific frequency that's allowing you to sync up.